Here we have a video. It was a handheld video I did at work. You can see, if you look at this clamp right in the upper left corner, it's kind of moving around. And I stabilized it with Blender. And this is the stabilized version. You can see that that clamp is staying pretty steady after I updated it or fixed it in Blender. So how did I do that? Let's close this. Go into Blender. First of all, in Blender, this is the 3D view where you see the cube. Over here on the left is the tool panel, and you can see the tool panel. Just toggle it on and off with the T key on your keyboard. So T, go to Blender, T turns it off, T turns it back on. Now over on the right side, you can't see it, is the property panel. You need N. N toggles it on and off. Okay, so we'll leave that on. And now if you look down here in the lower left corner, you see a little cube. That is for the 3D view. If I click on it, I get a list here, or a menu, and I'm going to go to the movie clip editor to do the 2D stabilization. Loads up empty, so let's go and open a video clip from my 2D stabilize here. Here's the video I took. And you can scrub through this video by dragging this green bar left and right. You just press down the left mouse button and drag it left and right, and you can see the video. Now, if I come over to the property panel, you see the footage information. I click the arrow next to it, and I can see the information. Again, if this panel isn't here, hit N to toggle it on and off. The size of the video was 1280 by 720, so we don't want to change it. We're going to come way over to the right, to the farthest panel, and change the resolution to 1280 by 720. Make it 100%, and the end frame is going to be 535. Now go back to your video. Find a spot of high contrast. I'm going to pick this spot right here, and I'm going to create a tracking point right there. So I'm going to move the mouse, I'm going to hit Control, and then left click, and it puts a tracking point there. I'm going to come over to the property panel. I'm going to click the search button here, and that's going to show me, when I do the automatic tracking, where it's going to search. I'm going to make that box a little bit bigger like that, and I want to make sure that when I scrub through here, that point always remains in the search area. So as I scrub through, I'm scrubbing right, still okay, okay. Oh, how about that? We want to go out to 533. Our timeline stops at 280. We can do one of two things. We can press our scroll wheel down, and then with it still pressed down, drag it left and right. We can also make that wheel come towards us, just spin it towards us, and it zooms out. And I can see the whole timeline. So I'm going to continue to scrub, make sure my high contrast point, it stays in my search box. It's still there, still there, still there, still there, still there. Right at the end, it starts to go out. So let's go here. And now, when it starts to get towards the end, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to left click on the center and move it down. And now I'm going to go all the way to the end of the video and move it down one more time. Now that I've scrubbed through, made sure my point stays within my search box throughout the whole video, go back to the beginning, hit Control. I want to start in the right place too. So hit Control T. Now it's going to go through the whole video and track that point. Keep track of it in every frame, how it needs to adjust to keep that point steady. You can see it. We're at 420 something here, almost done. Okay, we've now made our tracking point. We come over to our property panel, put a check next to 2D stabilization, hit the little triangle so you can see it, and I'm going to add this track to this list by clicking the plus. Now if you scrub through the video, you see it's not stabilized yet. I have to come over here to the property panel and click on display stabilization. Now when I scrub, it's nice and steady, but I have a gap under here where there's a big gap where there's no video anymore. So I want to hit auto scale. That will auto scale my video. 2 is a bit much. I'm going to make it 1.25. That will take care of the video for most of it, but if I scroll all the way to the end, scrub all the way to the end, you'll see there's still a gap here. What I want to do is, before I output it, I want to move the whole video down. You can see even here, halfway through, I'd rather have the video down. So I'm going to move the whole video down. Let's move it down 150 pixels. So how do we do that? We got to go to the node editor now. So click over here, lower left corner. Click on the movie clip editor icon. Brings up the menu. Now click node editor. You get to node editor, you don't see anything because you got to come down here and click this icon right in the middle, and then use nodes. That shows the nodes. I'm also going to put the backdrop on. Now I can pick a node just by clicking on the top here, and here's my composite node. I need that. The render node, I don't need that right now, so I'm going to hit X, and that deletes it. Now I want to add some nodes, so I'm going to hit Shift A. And I'm going to put a movie clip in here. Now, I don't need to open it, I already have it opened. All I need to do is reload it here. Hit Shift A again. Now this time I want to go to Distort and Stabilize 2D. Put my node here, and I'm going to left click this yellow dot and drag it over, make this line until it connects. In 2D Stabilize, I also want the same video. And then I'm going to add another node, and here's where we move it down. We go to Translate. Click these two together, and I'm going to put in minus 150 pixels. I can connect that to my composite node. I can also add and output a viewer node, and the viewer node will show me what I'm doing right here. Alright, this is helpful if I'm doing color correction. I can see it as I make the changes, but right now I only had a offset node. I want to see at any given point, let's say here at the end of the video, what's the frame going to look like. I can just move it to that point and on the timeline, and then hit F12, and it will render that one single frame. Okay, let's go back to our node editor. Just take one last look at it. So we got the movie clip, stabilize, translate, and then output to composite node. Now we're going to set our output path over here way to the right. If I click this spot here, I'm going to go back to 2D stabilize, put it in this folder here. I'm going to give the file name, and we'll call this stabilization output. How's that? That's fine. Hit accept. And now, if I were to hit animate, it would create 535 PNG files. I do that a lot of times when I have a long video that I'm going to piece together later. In this case, I'm just going to go to AVI JPEG, and I'm going to decrease this to 75% for the quality. And when I'm all set, I hit animation. And you can see it is now building it one frame at a time. Looks like we went down too far. There's a big, ugly border at the top. So let's stop. We can go back to our movie clip editor. Make this 1.35. Go back to our node editor. Make this minus 120. And let's hit animate again. Okay. Oh, that looks much better. So, as this goes through, it will go through all 535 frames, and when you're done, you'll have an AVI file that you can use in whatever way you want. Pretty cool.